just joined us on the System After Dark, this is a homegrown number courtesy of E3 and Cracker. Bulla, how's it going? I'm D, your host on the System After Dark, right here on Today FM. Today's hit music. You can catch me weeknights at 7 p.m. That's from Monday to Friday, only on the home of Today's hit music. And don't forget, that's D with you every weeknight on the System After Dark. Even got that homebrew flowing.
In this bulletin, Parliament endorses the ratification of the Montreal Convention. Fiji improves ranking on US human trafficking watch list. And drug trafficking duo sentenced by Lautoka High Court. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. The Parliamentary Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and Defence today presented their report on the Convention for the Unification of Certain Rules for International Carriage by Air 1999, commonly known as the Montreal Convention. Committee Chairman Nethani Rika led the debate on why it would be beneficial for Fiji to ratify the convention, a motion approved by Parliament. Maggie Boyle with the story.
Guide us in our deliberations.
In today's sitting, the Parliamentary Standing Committee's report into the Montreal Convention, commonly referred to as MC99, was up for debate. Committee Chairman Nethani Rika elaborating on the recommendations of his team.
The committee believes there are significant benefits for Fiji through the accession, one of which will ensure the modernization and harmonizing of our laws in line with international best practices.
And from the opposite side of the House, the endorsement was in the positive, albeit marked with questions.
Wholeheartedly and fully agree with this convention, Madam Speaker, that it needs to be ratified without reservation.
I would like to hear from the chairperson or from the minister responsible whether this extends to terrorist activities or terrorist acts during flights, because that has become very common.
For government, the advantages of ratification outweigh any negatives. Our aviation history better for it.
The Court of Appeal judgment in the fated PC 121 flight. The Court of Appeal, in hearing the matter before the court, stated that in an ideal world, Fiji should have by now enacted a legislation incorporating the modern, enlightened version of the convention, which is the 1999 Montreal Convention.
The Montreal Convention will streamline and enhance efficiency in international air transport carriage operations while providing for equitable compensation. And upon accession, the Fijian government will work with airlines to develop a joint communication strategy to highlight benefits of this convention to all Fijians.
Parliament unanimously voted to note the report, which was then endorsed by the Prime Minister, Vorange Bainimarama, who was also the acting Foreign Affairs Minister. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Members of Parliament have once again been warned to maintain a good conduct while debating in the House. This follows numerous interruptions by the opposition as the Prime Minister Vorange Bainimarama tried to explain government's financial contribution to Fijian Holdings Limited and the Itauke Lands Trust Board. Akosita Tale has more.
Prime Minister Vorange Bainimarama said the government doesn't make any financial contribution to the FHL. However, this was opposed by the opposing member Niko Nawaikula.
What is it still doing there? What is it still doing there? Because it does not belong to it. It should be out. I'm sorry.
See, Madam Speaker, this is exactly my point when I said that obviously the member that came up with the question does not know what's happening around him. Now, the member that has just came up with the last question obviously also does not know what's happening around him. Because under the governing laws, Madam Speaker,
It's not theirs.
under the laws governing TLTB,
Please, can you allow the honorable, can you allow the
maybe you should answer the question.
Following this, Speaker of the House Dr. Chico Luveni requested Nawaikula to withdraw his comment, which he did. Opposition MP Aseri Randondo then asked the Prime Minister why shares owned by corporate entities are still controlled by the Minister of Fijian Affairs. Bainimarama says it's a Fijian trust fund and it falls under the Minister for Fijian Affairs. However, this led to a much more heated debate.
I just want to tell the opposite side of the House that under the laws governing TLTB, I think there's a group of people here that should be removed from this House. Madam Speaker? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Look at the universities. These are our young leaders in years to come. They're sitting at the back of the House. Our young leaders sitting at the back of the House listening to rubbish put out by these people. But I don't think there's any more need to talk to the other side of the House about the answer.
However, it still didn't settle in well, with opposition's Iswa Tikoda requesting the Prime Minister to withdraw his statement.
I think the Honourable Prime Minister should now withdraw that statement.
Don't point, please.
Until.
What is it?
If this is rubbish, then you are a corrupt leader. Thank you, madam.
I would like you to withdraw that statement.
He has to withdraw rubbish first.
I will ask you to withdraw that statement.
I withdraw.
Opposition member Tupon Ronindalo then asked the Speaker if the word rubbish can be used in the House.
There has been exchange of very strong words, and I have allowed some strong words, but it has gone out of control. And this is why I have asked for withdrawal of a very, very strong words, which is most stronger than what you have said. Please, honourable members, we have now come to the end of this sitting.
It's understood that the Prime Minister's full answer and explanation of the matter could not be delivered in Parliament today, as the Speaker of the House adjourned the sitting to 9:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Akosita Talei, FBC News.
Meanwhile, FBC TV has obtained the Prime Minister's full response, which he couldn't deliver in Parliament after continuous attacks against him led to an early adjournment of the House. In his response, Bainimarama says, under the laws governing TLTB, the minister responsible for Itaukei Affairs is the chairperson of TLTB, and under the Itaukei Affairs Act, the minister is the chairperson of the Itaukei Affairs Board. His response further stated that the government's contribution to the TLTB and through partnership with government, TLTB has implemented a number of positive reforms, including in particular equal distribution of lease monies. The response also included Bainimarama highlighting that in 1989, the Fiji Development Bank provided a $20 million interest-free loan to the Itaukei Affairs Board for the purchase of FHL shares. He says the loan was then subsequently and conveniently converted into a grant, which allowed a number of Itaukei elites to buy and get a free ride in Class A shares in FHL. The Prime Minister says his government has ensured that this injustice was eradicated, and today Class B shareholders receive dividends on par with Class A shareholders. Fiji's ranking has improved in the United States Human Trafficking Watch List. Immigration Minister Timothy Natuva says successful prosecution of foreigners and locals involved in human trafficking and smuggling has led to improvement in the ranking. Natuva was responding to questions raised on the measures taken by the Immigration Department to contribute to the combating of human trafficking. Natuva says human traffickers are prosecuted under the Immigration Decree 2003 and Crimes Decree 2009.
The fact that we have covered trafficking and smuggling in two of our legislation, and as a result of successful prosecution and imprisonment of those individuals found guilty of the crime, we have improved our ranking in the U.S. watch list of trafficking in persons from Tier 3 to Tier 2. And we are working closely with the World Bank and International Monetary Fund so that we can increase the ranking to Tier 1.
Natuva says there are currently 7 pending human trafficking cases in court. A 42-year-old barman and a 69-year-old Australian have been sentenced for importing illicit Drug Control Act into the country. Johanna Pisandriva and Trevor Mervyn Tamblin received their sentences close to a year after they were arrested in Nandi for drug trafficking. Christopher Chand reports.
42-year-old Ioane Pisandriva and Australian Trevor Mervyn Tamblin had smuggled pseudoephedrine into the country, disguised as baby care products when they were caught in April last year. A parcel had been sent to Ndriva containing a bottle of baby powder and 5 miniature toys to divert suspicion. The pair had been working as a joint enterprise smuggling drugs. Driver has been sentenced to 5 years for illegally importing a controlled substance, while Tamblin will serve 4 years, minus 1 year for the time he has spent in remand. They will not be eligible for parole for 3 years. After the sentencing, Tamblin's lawyer Barbara Malimali showed her frustration to FBC News for covering the case.
I'm sorry, I'm asking you to please leave him alone. You're being very, very intrusive. What TV station are you from? Because you guys are a really, really rude bunch. So please stop. Yes, you want to record me telling you off. Yes, you can record me. This is rude what you're doing and very intrusive. And you're in my face. Okay, I'm going to punch him, so I better go, eh? Otherwise the police officer might arrest me again.
In covering the story, the FBC fulfilled its responsibility of informing the public in a case where Justice Tusara Rajasinghe said the main purpose of sentencing the two was to act as a deterrent to others. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
Still to come on FBC News, Fijians studying in Vanuatu tell of tropical cyclone Pam experience.
Nama ke rau mena tolu kena betu. Ena via kabi, moliti kena paromboka. Gori ana lali ne kabi. Bula FM number 2 ena seri.
My name is Luca. I live on the second floor.
Gold FM, Molly the Classic Hits. I hope you're having fun so far. You're listening to The Ride, and I'm Kara, taking you through your afternoon. Stay with me to listen to more awesome classics right here on The Ride. Bulabinaka, for awesome sounds in the afternoon. Wonderful, wonderful classics. Join me on The Ride every weekday right here on Gold FM, Molly the Classic Hits from 2 to 7.
Just don't ask me what it was. I think it's cause
This is FBC News. Fijians studying at the University of the South Pacific MLS campus in Vanuatu have been left shaken by the ferocity of tropical cyclone Pam. Edwin Nunn spent a day in Port Vila after the devastation and files this report.
No part of Vanuatu was spared by tropical cyclone Pam, which has left destruction and in some cases death in its wake. For Fijians studying in Vanuatu, nothing could have ever prepared them for the fury of the super cyclone.
When we had to evacuate from the classrooms and come to the conference room, which was like everybody who was running at that point was in danger because there were just sheets of tins flying and just strong winds, and we had a little baby with us, so it was really like, it was threatening and stuff.
As TC Pam bore down on Vanuatu last Friday, students were told to stay in their blocks and all safety measures were taken. But the force of the cyclone was so strong that even the best of protections didn't hold up in some cases.
The winds were like really intense, and like it was raining, and you're just looking out and you can see things like flying around and the trees and falling down. So it was just really scary. Like I guess, you know, because we've never experienced anything like that. Yeah, I've never prayed so hard in my life before.
Many of the students have lost their learning materials, books and laptops. Classes have been suspended at the MLS campus until USP can get its facilities in order. There are about 15 locals still at the campus. While they're in good health, they haven't lost sight of the danger they were in.
Firstly, that we were away from homes, that we didn't have any of our family members around. That was a bit scary for us, and it was a bit more intense compared to the hurricanes that we have faced in Fiji. Just like what Bree said, the hurricane shutters starting to come out and the roofs. That was really, really scary. And then the aftermath was more than scary because we got to see all our laptops and our printers just lying around. So yeah, it was really scary.
10 of the worst affected Fijian students were able to get on a flight home on Monday night. The USP is providing rations and other necessities for those who remain in Port Vila. Edwin Nand, FBC News.
Chiefs and the people of Rewa are discussing the progress of government's educational, social and economic development at the Rewa Provincial Council meeting at the Novotel Hotel in Lami today. Watisoni Raikandroka reports.
The annual meeting to discuss development and other important issues in the province of Rewa got underway this morning.
The whole purpose of this council that I see that is sitting here today is for us to look back at some of the developments, social development, economic developments that the province has been seriously undertaking in 2015.
Rewa Provincial Council Chairman Urai Waimbuta says they are thankful for the government's involvement in some of the issues discussed in the past provincial meetings.
Roading is an area. We are so thankful that that had been discussed at the highest level here in Fiji, especially the Rewa-Butia Road. That was an issue discussed in Parliament yesterday. This was some of the issues that has been raised through the Provincial Council.
Waimbuta adds that education is paramount for Rewa. Economic development has always been challenging due to the cost involved when government wants to introduce new technology or concept for the people.
So through this process, we would be able to request the government come up with some good programs and try and see how they can facilitate and assist in those areas.
The delegates are hoping that issues discussed in this provincial meeting will lead to the betterment of the province. Watisoni Raikandroka, FBC News.
Amalgamated Telecom Holdings Limited has paid an interim dividend of $14.7 million or 3.5 cents per share. ATH today released payment to its largest shareholders, the Fiji National Provident Fund and the government. FNPF received $8.6 million and government received $5.1 million. ATH General Manager Ivan Fong says the ATH share price has steadily improved over the last few years and this reflects increased investor confidence. The Attorney General welcomed the payment.
We look forward to not just more dividends being paid but also more investment in the telecommunications sector, because Fiji at the moment is very much way ahead of the other Pacific Island neighbors, but we need to always consolidate that position and even further our position as far as telecommunications is concerned.
Today's payment brings to $355.2 million the total dividend that ATH has paid since 2000. In that period, the FNPF has received $203.8 million, while the government has received $123.1 million. And on that note, it's Sports Now with Jamie. What's the latest?
Thanks, Jackie, and good evening. Well, coming up, Fijiana to have fresh trials before next leg of Women's 7 Series and talks underway to introduce snooker into schools. Details after the break.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. Beautiful song from the group Firehouse and When I Look Into Your Eyes. Before that, you heard from Smokey Robinson with One Heartbeat. We'll take a short break and join us in the next hour for more music from Seal. Bulablaga. I'm DJ Tora. Join me every weekdays, 7 until midnight on the Premium Classics. Right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits.
छू 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 हे हे नमस्ते फीजी, आपके हर एक प्रॉब्लम की दवा लेकर मैं आ गई हूँ 9 से 12 बजे तक आपकी सहेली रेनू। छू 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 40 में 20 का दिखना है। मैं हूँ ना आपके साथ में मिर्ची एफएम पर 9 से 12 बजे तक मंडे टू फ्राइडे। मिर्ची इट्स हॉट।
First up in sports tonight, the TFL Fijiana side will be scouting for new players. Team management says they will hold fresh trials to select the next team for the World Rugby Women's 7 Series in Canada. Meanwhile, the current squad arrived home today after winning the bowl final at the Atlanta Sevens on Monday. Josephine Navula has the details.
The TFL Fijiana side arrived today after winning the bowl title in the second tournament in a row, which has not impressed the team management.
We really need to try and do one better than the bowl. It's our second bowl now after Brazil and this one at Atlanta, and we really need to find our what it takes for us to improve.
Koroi says the team now aims to move up from the bowl stage and also lift the standard of performance.
He wants to run another trial, he wants to run a fitness test the minute they go back in, and he wants to have another trial to see if there are new talents coming in. If we have new talents, we are very happy to take them. We are sending out an invitation to all of you girls, ladies that are interested to be Fijiana. Come in. We're looking at increasing our player base.
The high number of injuries within the team has also alarmed the manager.
Somehow Atlanta Sevens has been, we noticed there's been a lot of injuries, not only for us, for all teams. I think we were talking about it. I think it's the level of the competition has just gone higher. It's intense now.
The players will be back in camp on Monday to prepare for the Canada Sevens that will be held on the 18th and 19th of next month. Josephine Navula, FBC Sports.
The Nandi football team will make some changes in the squad for the match against Lambasa in the Rewa Galaxy Premier League this week. The match against the Northerners will be the last outing for the team's goalkeeper Ben Matai Nangara, as he will be departing soon to join Papua New Guinea's champion team Hekari United FC. Striker Napoleon Ngasivakatini is likely to feature for his former team, as he has been training with the squad from the beginning of the week. Nandi Football Association President Navnida Gaunda says they are still waiting for the former rep's release from Suva.
We are trying to get Napoleon Ngase, who was our current player, but he is playing in Suva. But hopefully we get his release by Friday, and definitely he'll start as one of the starters in any team.
Meanwhile, on Sunday at Lawanga Park in Singatoka, Lambasa plays its second match of the weekend, taking on Nandrunga at 4 p.m. Also on Sunday, Rewa travels to Govind Park to take on Ba at 3 p.m. The Fiji Snooker Association is hoping the sport will soon be included in schools. The association has been having talks with the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and hopes are high for snooker to be introduced at school level. Rohit Deo has more.
The sport of snooker does not have a very good player base in the country, mostly because players tending to take up the sport believe the atmosphere in which the sport is played is not respectable. The Snooker Association is hopeful they will be able to change the mindsets of these people.
Snooker is very gentleman game, and we need the gentle people to involve in this game, and especially for our kids, upcoming player. As I see yesterday, I go around in the billiard shop there. Lot of talent in Fiji. Need to be polished proper way. We try to provide the good venue or good ground.
The initiative has been recognized by the regional head of the sport.
Already the Oceania organization, they give us hope. They provide the two snooker table, and also they assist us in the coaching. We discuss with our youth and sport ministry. They are willing to give us space. They are looking some free space. And when I come back, hopefully very soon we start the academy in Fiji.
Meanwhile, the Fiji players have made a brilliant start to the Oceania Snooker Championships, which started in New Zealand today. Brothers Rahil and Sahil Prasad won their opening matches against quality opponents from New Zealand and Australia respectively. With a great start as this, expectations are even higher now. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, you can catch the highlights of this match here on FBC TV at 9:30 tomorrow morning, with the replay at 2:30 in the afternoon. That was your sports for this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
Fiji Airways and its domestic subsidiary Fiji Link today reported both airlines showed improved results in their February 2015 on-time performance. Fiji Airways reported an on-time performance rate of 88.61% in February compared to 75.92% in January. Fiji Link recorded 91.90% compared to 86.90% in January. Major factors contributing to delays for Fiji Airways in February were related to weather, minor aircraft issues, associated factors. For Fiji Link, the driving factors were again weather and minor mechanical issues. Fine weather prevailed over most parts of the country today. Nadi and Savu were the coolest places today, hitting 30 on the temperature chart. All other centres recorded 31 degrees. Tomorrow, there should be fine weather across the country, except for Suva and Savu, who should expect some showers and clouds. Further outlook, fine apart from brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands. Southeast winds 15 to 20 knots, moderate to rough seas. And recapping the main points. Parliament endorses the ratification of the Montreal Convention. Fiji improves ranking on U.S. human trafficking watch list, and drug trafficking duo sentenced by Lautoka High Court. This week's poll question, we are again asking, should Piotr play for Fiji in the Hong Kong Sevens? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us by Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That's all from us tonight. Join us again tomorrow at the same time. Ni Mormamba.
Naturanga kini marama ni bulu binaka na dolu bau kini monelewa. Nisa bulu binaka ngone. Ena dua talem nama ngona ni wawai katalau. Ena mataka ena nai.
Ena vendelana mai nei tasiri.
Numbulu maleka. Go ni milote nai sorota boa.
Ena lomo ni bonua mai sianganga.
Meu bulu go Samuel Samli. Na nota ngona ni wawai katalau ena radio Fiji wan nandomo eviti na vonga ni venu. Mai no kini thiwa ena be mataka. Moni tiki na pagrumuka. Nika ina maka.